Hey folks, it's Chris once again talking about a disturbing topic that's been bothering me for a long time. And this is the empty-headed blather about the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Well, it's all going to be better. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. These African intellectuals sound an awful lot like Donald Trump. Well, let's be honest about the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. While it holds a lot of promise in execution, it delivers very little. First off, the protections for intellectual property rights, copyrights, and trademarks was supposed to be negotiated and resolved by 2021, after the act already came into effect. Never mind the fact that only 22 of the African states had to ratify it, deliver the articles to the African Union in order for it to take effect. That's comical. A minority of participants approve it. So that's the first thing that's weird. Second thing is that these copyright, intellectual property, and trademark protections are not negotiated yet. So countries can do whatever they want. But the biggest concern I've had about this all along has been, what about enforcement? How does this agreement, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, punish transgressors? If it's supposed to open up markets for intra-African trade, in Southern Africa, we're going very much in the opposite direction, and we have been for a number of years. Botswana intends to push forward with its Industrial Development Act of 2019 and the regulations of 2020. Now, they have a protected list of industries of 21 business crafts ranging from bread and confectionery to furniture. Now, here's the thing about that, folks. Here's the thing about that. If you look at the actual legislation that was passed in 2019, the minister shall make regulations reserving industrial licenses for citizens of Botswana or companies wholly owned by citizens of Botswana. Talk about protectionism. Talk about protectionism. A lot of South Africa, Botswana's economy is a consequence of investment from neighboring states like South Africa and foreign direct investment. So you can't own a business in these sectors unless you are a Botswana. You have to be a Botswana. No, that's ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. So far from helping Botswana, this is actually going to have a negative effect. We've seen this movie play before. President Robert Mugabe signed into law the Indiginization and Empowerment Act on March 7th of 2008. Now, that act required foreign-owned companies to offer at least 51% of their shares to indigenous Zimbabweans. Now, not only was that a foolhardy move, but it was also racist because indigenous Zimbabweans were described as black Zimbabweans, not Bushmen, San, not mixed race, and not white Zimbabweans. It was a racist law, and they got away with it. And so we have clueless United Nations envoys coming out of Zimbabwe after being there for 2 weeks today saying, well, the reason Zimbabwe is in misery is because the United States has sanctions on Zimbabwe. Well, let's put this to bed for once and all, which won't happen. There are no sanctions on Zimbabwe. Anyone foolish enough to invest in a country with racist legislation like this is welcome to do it from America. If you're stupid, feel free to dump your money in there and have it stolen and given to people based on the pigmentation of their skin. That's the definition of racist. Absolute definition. And before anybody says, no. Mnangagwa amended this act, but it hasn't changed the basis of it. It's stupid. I'm not going to take my money that I worked, sweat, blood, and toil to earn and take a risk in an economy where racists run the economy. It's just stupid. And what is going on in Botswana? Is this xenophobes? Are xenophobes running the country? What the hell is going on here? You're excluding foreign direct investment. Why would anybody put money in a country where you can't own the business that you put there? Never mind repatriation of profits. That's a whole other story. In South Africa, last month, President Cyril Ramaphosa signed the Private Security Industry Regulation Amendment Act. Now, part of its provisions are that all security companies have to have 51% South African ownership. Now, that's idiotic. What does that do to G4S? Is G4S, one of the largest security providers in all of Africa, now forced to sell their shares to South Africans and not retain control of a company that they run very well and provide legitimate security for millions of people across the African continent? This is absolutely insane. This protectionism is unacceptable. It needs to stop. How does the African Continental Free Trade Agreement impose sanctions or punishments against economies like Zimbabwe, Botswana, and South Africa for their intentional nationalization of sectors of the economy to prevent people from investing in their economy? It's asinine. Where is the enforcement mechanism? There isn't one. So for all the African intellectuals running around, oh, it's a new day is dawn, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement will save us. No, it won't. Just like the African Union hasn't saved you. You can't save yourself from your own stupidity. We saw stupidity here under George Walker Bush, imposing tariffs on soft timber imports from Canada and steel imports from South Korea to protect the domestic steel industry and the timber industry here in America, neither of which needed protection. The companies that were competitive didn't need that protection. All it did was push up the price of timber and steel for American businesses, pushing up the cost of construction, pushing up the cost of real estate, pushing up the cost, and costing all of us as consumers more money by protecting fossilized companies that don't deserve protection. And the same in South Africa, Botswana, and Zimbabwe. Not to mention the racist element of Zimbabwe's law. It's ridiculous. Stop this idiotic nonsense. Botswana has gone the wrong direction, and this will destroy future foreign direct investment. It's idiotic, as has South Africa. Why do South Africans have to control companies providing security? The government doesn't provide security. In fact, it's failed abysmally. 60 murders per day. 100,000+ people looting KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng in July, and the government has no response to it. Police that arrive with no bullets, no reinforcements, no coordinated operations. Neighborhoods ransacked, attacked by looters. And you want to make sure that private security firms are owned by South Africans? We see the competency of a huge segment of South Africa's economy when it comes to security. It's non-existent. Stop the protectionism. It's idiotic. Hey, folks, if you're not a subscriber to Chris Wyatt Africa, why don't you become one right here by smashing that button down there? And we'll give you objective, independent analysis from outside Africa with an eye looking in on the continent from an experienced Africanist. That's me. Cheers.